between the Perth Thundersticks and the New South Wales Warriors. Perth, on the score of experience, Richard, certainly go in as favourites.
They certainly do, but on exposed form on what we saw on Friday night, I'm not writing off the Warriors at all. I thought they were fantastic on Friday night. It's the best I've seen them play all season. They're coming together at the right time, and that old Warrior Ken Walk and his fellow fullback David Burke were just sensational. And some of the younger players really rose to the occasion, and I could see them today reproducing that form, really troubling this star-studded Thundersticks team.
Well, the New South Wales coach Larry McIntosh, in fact, was very pleased with the way that his side did go on Friday night in their semi-final victory.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Friday night's game was a very good game. I mean, the Vics were premiers last year, and we're looking for the same effort and involvement of our younger players. I mean, our senior players, Kenny Walk, and I thought Gerard Priest played extremely well on Friday night with David Burke. Luke McCoyman in defence was quite solid, didn't make too many mistakes. But it's the younger players that have really sort of come to the forefront the last, well, since Easter, basically. I mean, that's our 6th game on the win, on the trot.
Larry McIntosh, the New South Wales coach. Now, looking to the Perth side, Richard, they do have a lot of experience in their ranks.
Oh, they certainly do, with their captain Mark Hager, one of the all-time greats of Australian hockey, goalkeeper Deletti, who's been in certainly fantastic form. But I really believe that the key to it will hinge on Sproul and Godoyne, who we saw make a comeback on Friday night. If Godoyne's in good form in the midfield and Sproul starts running through, I think he'll cause this New South Wales defence all sorts of trouble.
Well, let's hear what the Perth coach, David Bell, had to say about his side, and Richard Agus was able to catch up with him.
You've been on top all year. You fully expect to win today?
No, we never expect to go out there and just go through because of the results previously in the year. No, we think it's going to be a tough game. We're going to have to play well to try and get the result that we would like to have at the end of the day.
And Kenny Walk at the back's been very good for New South Wales?
Very, very good on Friday night. We were probably fortunate when we played him in the round game that he was out injured, but we'll try and work out something to keep Kenny running around.
Well, an excellent final coming up between the Perth Thundersticks and the New South Wales Warriors. Richard Agus, what's your tip?
Well, I think New South Wales are the form team, but I really don't doubt the Perth Thundersticks with their experience are going to be a real problem for them.
And the players are almost set to take the pitch here at the Queensland State Hockey Centre.
Team of the Perth Thundersticks.
And here comes the Perth side, led out by Mark Hager, such an experienced captain.
Scott Webster, Chris Walk, Aaron Ride, Greg Corbett, Bevan George.
A side that certainly has experience, no doubt, but also has some youth and pace in their side.
And their captain, Mark Hager.
Having a look at their side, Damon Deletti, of course, Paul Godoyne, Daniel Sproul, who Richard Agus mentioned. One player I thought played particularly well on Friday night was Michael Brennan.
Yeah, I thought Michael Brennan was actually their best player on Friday night, and if he reproduces that form, it's going to be a great contest among some of the younger players.
But certainly on the score of experience, the man who leads the way is the Perth captain, Mark Hager.
Yeah, they're a tough side. I mean, Ken Walk as their captain, he's a tough player, and they've got I think about 5 or 6 guys who are in the youth team as well as some in the Australian squad. So they're a very fast forward line, and if they get at you quickly, they tend to punish you very, very easily. So if you don't slow them down once they get the ball, then they will punish you.
Mark Hager, 230 tests for Australia. That says it all. That is experience plus. And he'll be leading the way for Perth with the man who is his counterpart this afternoon, the captain of New South Wales, Ken Walk. On the score of experience is right up there with Mark Hager, and he's the man who'll be leading from the front as far as the New South Wales Warriors were concerned. They put in an excellent performance to knock out Melbourne on Friday night. And their side with, of course, Ken Walk, but also the Smiths, Grant Smith and Matthew Smith, both of whom were Olympians for Australia in Atlanta, and blessed with terrific speed, Matthew Smith.
Yes, he's very fast forward, and David Bell said in that interview, unless they slow those guys down, they're going to cause a lot of problem. But I really believe one of the keys for New South Wales is going to be Pearce in the goals.
Well, the leader for New South Wales, their captain, Ken Walk.
Well, I think once they looked towards me at the start of the game, but once I think they're involved in the game, I think their natural ability then starts coming out of them, and they just then start doing what they do best. Then my job then is a lot easier, because then all I have to do is worry about mine.
3 Olympic Games, 214 tests as opposed to Hagar's 230. What great experience. Now we're set for the national anthem. Hagar and Ken Walker deep in concentration. What about the officials for this afternoon, Richard Agus?
Well, both Queenslanders, Paul Ludwig and Gary Marsh, both very experienced, and they're both more than capable of performing very well at this level of hockey. And obviously, one of the things that umpires are looking for, if they can show they can handle this level of competition, they can go further internationally.
Well, the Australian selectors, of course, will be watching this game very, very closely, with the Australian squad to be announced probably on Tuesday for the start of a 6-test series against Pakistan. First test in Perth and then 2 tests in Adelaide. And Richard, probably a squad will be named for that, and then some changes made for the final 3 tests.
Yes, I understand they're going to name a squad which will be split into 2. One squad for the first 3 tests and then some others added, as you suggest, and that's probably a good idea because it probably indicates there's going to be some young guys added to that squad.
So a great chance for some of those young players to impress this afternoon in the final of the Fox Sports Cup for 1997. The New South Wales Warriors up against the Perth Thundersticks. Perth, who've really been the dominant side in this competition over the years. This is young Brett Livermore, and he's one player that the selectors will be keeping their eye on. He has a lot of talent.
And Sprouse made his intentions very clear then by a very, very hard tackle on young McCann.
So Michael McCann just losing possession. Greg Corbett with the flick downfield, being chased hard by Kirkcaldy. Dropping back forward is David Burke, though, for New South Wales.
Some interesting lineups with Nyland on the left wing and Matthew Smith at centre forward, which I think is done with an opportunity to try and create some uncertainty in the WA or the Perth team, because Sproul normally would play in the middle, but is anticipating that Smith will be on the right wing.
So the Perth Thundersticks just inside their own 25. The hit across field coming from Daniel Sproul, but going over the line. So the push in to be taken by New South Wales. It's the halfway mark in screen. This is Ken Walk. Lovely pass to pick up Livermore. Drives it inside the circle. Back very quickly, though, was Carruthers in defence for Perth.
He'll be looking for a better game than he had on Friday night.
So the free hit going to the Warriors. Back with Walk.
Well, pushing it back. Yes, he's given a push in the back against Carruthers.
So the first penalty corner of the game against Stuart Carruthers. So New South Wales with the first penalty corner. Let's have a look at that.
Yes, it's always a hard one because the player's turned his back to trap the ball. And Carruthers has leant on him, and the umpire, Gary Marsh, was right there. This is a very important penalty corner.
It looked to be much in it, but the umpire was right on the spot, and nobody on the field had a better view than he did of that. So the first penalty corner, push in to be taken by Grant Smith. Trapped. Ken Walk with the hit. Just going astray.
Yeah, a little deflection, maybe off Corbett on the post. So it'll be a long corner.
Ken Walk to take the long corner from the 25-yard. Livermore immediately sending it straight back to David Burke. So it's been New South Wales who've done the attacking in the opening minutes of this game. Perth called on to defend and do it well.
Yeah, good play by Carruthers. They'll give him a lot of confidence, and certainly good play by Brennan, because Brennan was probably the star in the Thundersticks team on Friday night, and he's already started in good form. But again, you see that bouncing ball.
Yeah, you couldn't really blame Kirkcaldy for that. Ian Kirkcaldy thought he had the ball trapped, but just at the last moment got a bad bounce. Taking it forward is Matthew Smith.
No, it's there. It's right there.
First breach, umpire Marsh said the first breach was just outside. Everybody must be 5 yards.
So going across the circle.
Keep going.
Davidson going back for it. Wasn't able to control it at first. Now Brennan. And again the ball going over the line. So the push in to be taken by Paul Godoyne. Drive downfield by Ian Wishart. Free hit to New South Wales. Ken Walk. Is it back to Livermore for the free hit, then to Walk. Short pass to Livermore. Trying to get around Kukelde. Comes off the stick of Greg Corbett. So the push in to be taken again by Livermore. Walk. Looking for support in the midfield.
Good pressure by Mark Hager. He just wasn't able to dispossess Lucas Mackay. It's interesting in a day, in this era of very short haircuts, the three guys on the field all got headbands. There's Caldos from Argentina, he's one of them. Mackay is another, McCann's another, so we're going to have to watch that.
Across the line, pushed in by New South Wales. Grant Smith looking for support and getting it back to Matthew Smith. Inside the circle.
Said something. He's been called over, Matthew Smith.
I'm not that where he's pushing. I flare up like that, mate. He's not doing you any good. It's not doing me. I didn't think it was going over there deliberately. Okay, so just keep it to yourself. Thank you very much.
So Matthew Smith gets a caution from the umpire, who shows him the green card. And the free hit to be taken for Perth by Ian Wishart. Paul Godoy. Stuart Carruthers just looking to where he'll push his pass and does so across to Wishart. Gives it back then to Corbett. Sproul just losing possession. So it comes back with Smith. Looking for his namesake, Matthew Smith. Across the back line, so the 16-yard hit to restart by Sproul. Godoy just using the flick. Ken Walk going for the trap, but the umpire right on the spot to say that the defender was up inside the 5 yards, and so the free hit goes to Ken Walk.
Yes, the first player under the ball has the right to play it, and no other player can come within 5 yards. We heard the umpire Ludwig say that.
So driven downfield and trapped well by Greg Corbett. Corbett just outside the 25. Now trying to get it inside the circle. Trapped though, and trapped well in fact by Lucas Mackay. This is Commons down the left wing for New South Wales, being chased by Stuart Carruthers. Draws the free hit, Commons. The hit by Lucas Mackay going over the baseline, so the game just hasn't really settled down in the opening, what, 7 or 8 minutes.
No, and certainly Perth are struggling to get their forward line away. The Warriors have an obvious plan of playing down the right-hand side and putting pressure on some of these young defenders from Perth, particularly Wishart and Haynes.
Michael Brennan just not able to control that ball, but it did come off a New South Wales stick. So the push in by Perth. Paul Godoy. Godoy, who's really an instrumental part of this Perth side, but has been out after ankle surgery. And really it was only Friday night where he made his comeback, playing a full game. And a lot of people wondering just how, in fact, he would pull up inside 48 hours. But at the moment, he looks as though he's in no discomfort whatsoever.
No, the physiotherapist from the Thundersticks team was telling me that he pulled up very, very well. He's very comfortable with it. And there's always going to be an element of soreness, but you never know whether that soreness comes from just the fact that you're playing or whether it's a soreness from the injury. But he's fine. I'm sure the Australian selectors are very happy to see him out there as well.
Here's a chance now for Perth. Push in to be taken by Perth. Ken Walk getting back to trap that ball. So the long corner to be taken by Greg Corbett. Driving it deep across field to Paul Godoy. Godoy looking to get it inside the circle, but no one there to take the pass. So back for the 16-yard hit restart. This is Commons. Commons being chased by Michael Brennan. Did well though, Commons. Was able to get it around to Aaron Nyland. Nyland trying to get it inside the circle, diving desperately to try and get hold of that ball and keep it in the field of play. Wasn't able to do so.
Nyland's one player they need to watch carefully. He's already scored 11 goals, and you see here on this breakaway, runs past Carruthers, very strong on the ball. Of course, his breeding is impeccable because his father played 3 Olympians for Australia, so the breeding's certainly there.
So no scorers yet in the final of the Fox Sports Cup for 1997 between the Perth Thundersticks and the New South Wales Warriors. Perth through Mark Hagar, getting the free hit. Hagar, Stuart Carruthers just looking to where he'll send the pass to. It's Goodwin.
New South Wales got everybody behind the ball.
Wishart down to Sproul, and that ball just lifting. So the free hit going the way of New South Wales. Oh, and across field it goes to Aaron Nyland. They have just got a bad bounce. He wasn't able to control that ball. So out over the back line, 16-yard hit restart from the Warriors.
Perth applying the press, making sure that they had great difficulty getting out, but Lucas Mackay was equal to the task.
This is Commons sending the ball downfield, being chased back there by Ian Wishart. Just a scrappy start until this game really does settle down. Probably understand that some of the players are just a little nervous, taking them a little time to find their composure, find their footing. This is Michael Brennan. Brennan trying to get around Commons. Almost did so, just at the last moment losing possession. So no scorers yet between the Thundersticks and the Warriors.
And certainly a lot of these New South Wales players have never played in a game of this intensity, and it's certainly going to be a great experience for them, but also some of the players from the Thundersticks, because there's a number of young boys in this team who have never played at this level, remembering Perth didn't play in the finals last year.
Flick downfield by Livermore. No one there to control it over the back line. Phil Haynes. Across to Sproul. Stuart Carruthers just outside his own circle to Goodwin. Goodwin looking to send his pass deep downfield. Max Keldas couldn't get hold of it for New South Wales. Just got to stick to it as it went over the line. Now Perth bringing it towards the circle, just keeping it in the field of play. Well taken though by New South Wales. This is Commons. Trying to break down the left-hand side. Being chased back well by Michael McCann.
Well, the penalty corner he's given. Yes, he's pulled the ball back underneath. It was a good run by Michael McCann. And again, he's another player that they need to watch. For a young player who scored 6 goals in the competition to date. And if we watch here, very good stick work. You see the dummy here. Pulls the ball back underneath Haynes. Penalty corner.
So the penalty corner, the second of the game, and both of them have gone to New South Wales. It's Michael McCann, having been the player instrumental in drawing that penalty corner for his side. And this is Grant Smith to take the push in. And the area that's caused problems as far as the bounce is concerned, and again, there's a bad bounce. And New South Wales losing possession, and it just is something that the officials of Queensland Hockey will have to look at, even though this is a brand new surface. It's that one area particularly, but such a vital area for the game. An area that most sides want to take penalty corners from, and it just seems that there is a problem, the surface in that area. We've seen it time and time again during this tournament, where a bounce has really affected a side's ability to capitalise on a penalty corner.
It's almost like there's a gremlin under there that just pops its little head up and makes the ball bobble at the last moment. And of course, when the ball does that at the absolute last moment, there's no chance of a person trapping the ball dead.
So New South Wales getting back in possession, driving it inside the circle, but no one there to make the deflection. Restart by Perth.
Perth are having trouble getting the ball to Corbett and Brennan, and consequently Hagar and Davison and Kilkelty are really struggling to get hold of the ball, as New South Wales again put everybody behind the ball.
Kilkelty not able to control that ball. It just seems to me, Richard, that although both sides have probably shown some nerves, taking a little time to settle down, it's New South Wales who are just starting to get into their stride a little earlier than Perth.
Yes, I would agree with that. I think they're handling the ball a little bit better and a little bit more decisively. Mind you, they're all in such good form, it's not surprising.
The two Smiths working together. Grant Smith, the 17 for New South Wales, and Matthew Smith, the 18. And now Perth coming away with it. Daniel Davison. Davison down the right wing. David Burke coming across, attempting to make the tackle with Keldas. Commons eventually comes away with it for New South Wales. This is Grant Smith.
A lovely ball.
Good ball for Commons. Getting towards the circle. Paul Goodwin did well back in defence for Perth. Goodwin getting the pass, in fact, back from Sproul. Sproul once more in possession. And Goodwin. And again with Sproul. The ball lifted.
I can't agree with that. That's why the crowd are hooting, because that was just brilliant play. That showed all the composure that you would expect of two Australian players, and he must have missed the ball, lifted the ball 3 inches if it was that. The umpire's given a free hit against him.
Brent Livermore contesting with Corbett. The experience of Corbett, though, wins out in the end. Lovely pass across field from Corbett to pick up Michael Brennan. Brennan looking for support, couldn't, well, he tried to get his pass away, wasn't able to be controlled, in fact, in the end for the Perth Thundersticks by Daniel Davison.
Good tackle by Phil Haynes. Here's an opportunity for Corbett. Now, if the pass is good enough, he's got a 2-on-1 here against
Brennan to Corbett, and Corbett able to send it into Kilkelty, gets inside the circle. The attempted deflection from Mark Hagar wasn't successful.
It was an important save by Pierce, goalkeeper.
So the free hit to go to New South Wales. Free hit to be taken by Lucas Mackay. Back with Commons. Mackay again. Dispossessed by Paul Goodwin. Kilkelty looking for Corbett. Ken Walk came in to try and take it. Walk couldn't get it. Neither, in fact, could Greg Corbett. And the smile says it all.
He couldn't believe Ken Walk missed it, and then he missed it himself. If it wasn't so serious, it would actually be funny. But Greg knew there was an opportunity there, because Ken Walk's not going to miss many in a match.
Greg Corbett may have seen the funny side of it. Ken Walk certainly didn't, though, Richard. Brent Livermore just losing possession for New South Wales. Free hit to Perth. Corbett getting it to Kilkelty, who's unmarked, sending it back inside to Mark Hagar, looking for Kilkelty. Right side of the net, terrific save by New South Wales.
Keldas, the Argentinian, flying back in defence, just deflected around the corner.
Daniel Davison was coming at the rate of knots to try and get that last deflection.
You see the ball just going here. Looks to me like it's just going to go in, and Keldas just deflects it. That could be a match-winning save.
So a let off for New South Wales. Bad luck for Perth, but no scorers yet, and we're inside the last minute of the first quarter of the Fox Sports Cup.
No coincidence, that was a good build-up on the left-hand side with Hagar and Kilkelty.
Chance again for Perth, but again Mark Hagar just slaps his wrist, knowing that another chance has gone begging. A couple of times during this first quarter, Mark Hagar, who's just about made a living of getting those deflections, he scored so many goals in similar situations, but just not able to capitalise this time. Sproul getting back is Livermore. Ooh. Dangerously lifted. A couple of people in the crowd had to duck as that ball headed their way.
But just to give you an idea of Hagar's contribution to Australian hockey, over 170 field goals in playing international hockey, not to mention how many he scored for Queensland in his early days, and now the Perth Thundersticks.
So the hooter goes for quarter time, a quarter in which it took both sides a little time to settle down, but they were really starting to find their feet towards the end of the first quarter. But no goal as yet in the match in the final.
That's right, and it did take a little while to settle it down. I thought the Warriors were on top early in the quarter, and then the Thundersticks were starting to come back and they started to string some passes together.
So at quarter time in the Fox Sports Cup final for 1997, Perth and New South Wales 0-0.
There's another big month of movies in store for you this month on Encore. May is full of surprises.
No, they're too close to their mouth.
And Kirkcaldy's gone off for Perth and been replaced by Scotty Webster on the right wing.
Berkey. Right back, Berkey. Bring it back, Berkey.
So the free hit going to New South Wales. Just on halfway. David Burke getting it across to Ken Walk. Walk running out looking for support. Commons is there. Mark Hagar getting back as well for Perth. Ball going across the line off a Perth stick.
I think that's an interesting decision by the coach of the Thundersticks, David Bell, to put Scotty Webster on the right wing. Webster's very talented, very skillful, and I think he might worry Keldos, whereas Davison will go into the left wing and use his pace against young Livermore. So I think it's probably a good tactic.
So Perth
Blue ball
in possession with Scott Webster going down that right wing. Paul Godoy not able to trap. They've just got a bad bounce, and Aaron Nyland getting away for New South Wales, dropping back quickly in defence is Stuart Carruthers. Kept in play by New South Wales.
It was good recovery by Stuart Carruthers. He needed to get back because, as we've seen earlier in the match, Nyland's very, very quick and also very, very strong on the ball.
That's good, that's fine.
So Max Kelness, the restart. Moving back for Ken Walk. Opposing captain Mark Hagar coming in. Put some pressure on Walk. Walk's drive, they're going over the line. Restarted by Sproul. Couldn't control it though. So New South Wales time with the restart. Through Greg Corbett. Corbett able to pick up Daniel Davison. Davison getting it down to Mark Hagar. Sends it straight back to Corbett. Corbett looking to get it inside the circle. No one there though for Perth. New South Wales certainly were there, and Michael McCann.
Onto a foot, I think, Ben.
Did come off the foot, and so the restart by New South Wales. The speed of Matthew Smith.
Good tackle by Carruthers.
Corbett to Davison. Brent Livermore getting possession for the Warriors. Pushed away by Phil Haynes though for Perth. Webster getting it back to Michael Brent. Stick check called. Free hit taken by Brennan. Crossfield from Webster. Lifted though was the ruling by the umpire, so the free hit goes the way of New South Wales. Thankfully, weather conditions have cleared. We've had a lot of rain during the week, and particularly this morning, a lot of heavy showers here in Brisbane. There's a chance coming for Perth. Just at the last moment goes begging.
That was a good press by Perth. They really forced an error from Burke. They're obviously keen that as soon as the ball goes back to Burke, they're going to press, so put him under pressure, try and make the interception.
Once more, Brennan trying to work it inside the circle and can't do so. But the free hit given to Perth. Now to be taken just outside the circle. Paul Godoy. Trapped though well by New South Wales, who got back in numbers and got back there quickly to make the save. This is Wishart getting it to Corbett. Corbett driving it straight back to Stuart Carruthers. Phil Haynes. With Carruthers. Trapped by Grant Smith. Coming back forward is Greg Corbett. Just getting the ball under control once more. Olympian Paul Godoy. Again, New South Wales defending well. Matthew Smith. Smith being confronted by Hagar. Terrific battle between the two of them. New South Wales get possession through Commons, then away to Grant Smith. He sends his pass, then on to Livermore. Brent Livermore. Can't get it inside the circle. Michael McCann desperately trying to get possession for New South Wales and couldn't do so. Perth getting possession.
not a good time to fall over in that situation because they built up very nicely. And young McCann just fell over at the wrong time. Let the Thundersticks off the hook. As I see Kirkcaldy's come back on for Davidson. And obviously they're looking for something on this left wing.
This is Matthew Smith. Dropping back immediately though for Perth was Ian Wishart in defence. Yes, the weather conditions have fined up. In fact, it's ideal at the moment for watching and playing. Just quite cool conditions, nice breeze, and the Rangers keeping away at the moment. No scorers yet though, as Webster tried to break down the wing. Lost control of the ball, New South Wales with the restart. Lucas Mackay. The Warriors captain Ken Walk, confronted by rival captain Mark Hagar. Slipped his pass to Luke Mackay.
One was looking for the square ball and the other one was looking for the run-on ball, and neither happened.
Michael Brennan. In centre field, Phil Haynes. Driving it through for Greg Corbett.
Oh, a lovely
Corbett
pass.
for Webster. Got it inside the circle. Now the flick being taken by Ian Kirkcaldy. And a penalty corner is called.
Certainly was. The ball was underneath the goalkeeper's pads.
Jared Pearce, in fact, did well. Probably knew he had to concede that penalty corner, but he did well to save it initially.
Yes, very important. You don't let the ball come out, because of a guy like Hager standing there, you see here on this shot at goal, the goalkeeper's in trouble, but he's keeping the ball under him, so he doesn't allow Hager to get the ball out and over the top. So he concedes the penalty corner.
Jared Pearce, the goalkeeper for New South Wales.
Brennan to push out. Kirkcaldy to stick stop.
Stopped. Corbett with the flick.
Oh, well, that's an interesting decision. Greg Corbett saying that should have been a penalty stroke because it's hit well, the guy on the post. But in fact, young Liversmore saved it. And I'm going to have a look here because I'm not sure whether it hit him on the head or where. Well, he's actually saved it. It's either dangerous play or a penalty stroke, and the umpire's giving dangerous play.
So both sides probably a little disappointed in the way that ruling went. But no scorers yet, and we've got just over 10 minutes remaining until half-time of the Fox Sports Cup final for 1997. The New South Wales Warriors and the Perth Thundersticks. New South Wales driving it down towards the circle, but Michael Brennan doing well. Now starting to use his pace, getting it away to Mark Hagar. Hagar does well to get his pass away to Webster. Back inside to Hagar, running it towards the 25, linking up with Webster. Brennan going up inside the circle for Perth. Hagar immediately getting it back to Phil Haynes. Driven by Corbett. Intercepted though by New South Wales. Free hit goes towards the Blues. Can walk to take it for the Warriors.
I don't think that was the best option by Greg Corbett. He was almost hitting and hoping at that stage. I think there were better options, certainly.
Ball going over the back line, so the 16-yard hit to restart for New South Wales. Walk inside his own circle. Now driven away by David Burke.
Good pressure by Perth. Again, that press. Obviously decided to press on that side of the pitch, which means hold the ball in there, try and make the interception and get the good shot at goal.
Outside, go outside, Jimmy, go outside.
Michael Brennan just losing control. Came off a New South Wales stick, so Paul Godoyne. Ken Walk traps, then drives it out of his own circle.
Willsmore and Peter Taylor have both come on the right-hand side, so both coaches are swinging the changes, particularly with their young strikers.
Walk. Just on his own side of halfway. Gets it back to Grant Smith.
Blue ball.
Ball going over the line. Blue ball. Grant Smith once more.
No, stick check off this, really. No, it's not. No advantage out of that. Back inside there. No advantage.
So the free hit to be taken by Perth.
Play inside, please, Gooders.
I'm still finding it quite interesting that the New South Wales Warriors are still playing Matthew Smith at centre striker. I really thought that they might try and put him on the right wing and try and have a one-on-one contest with Sproul.
This is Daniel Sproul. Corbett. Sproul. Wishart. Through Kirkcaldy to pick up Mark Hagar. Hagar getting towards the circle. Defensive Ken Walk coming back very quickly. New South Wales do well to scramble back. Willsmore getting the ball away with Grant Smith. Lucas Mackay looking for the runner out wide. That's Livermore. Tries to get around Corbett. Can't control it. Willsmore.
It's the second time Brennan's made that interception. He's doing a lot of work getting back into defence.
Running hard now, Michael Brennan.
Keep going.
Phil Haynes getting it to Webster. Confronted by Max Keldas.
Yes, good tackle.
Good tackle.
Good tackle by Keldas. All his experience of all those years playing for the Argentinian national team certainly stood in good stead there against a youngster from Perth.
So no scorers yet in the Fox Sports Cup final, and we're 7 minutes away from halftime. New South Wales through Brad Willsmore. Getting down inside the 25 once more. Willsmore is getting a bad bounce. Mackay was there though to pick it up. Stopped by Brent Livermore. Livermore across to Lucas Mackay. Driven inside the circle. Kicked away by Damon Deletti, the goalkeeper from the Perth Thundersticks. Webster and Keldas having a battle royal to try and get possession here. Free hit goes the way of the Thundersticks. Called for by Mark Hagar. Out on the right wing, trying to get his pass away to Webster. Webster loses possession.
Mark Hagar certainly looking sharp today. I thought he was a little flat on Friday night. He's certainly a real live wire in this match.
Livermore on the right wing for New South Wales.
A good ball.
Was a good ball, driving it deep, hoping to pick up Willsmore. Just wasn't able to get hold of it, Brad Willsmore.
It was a lovely pass and a diving lunge that just went underneath his stick. Damon Deletti was there to supervise it, but it would have been an interesting little contest if he'd trapped it.
So Perth getting possession back. Phil Haynes to Paul Godoyne. Godoyne to Corbett inside the circle. The flick just goes wide.
Wonderful piece of play by Phil Haynes to Godoyne to Corbett. Went on his reverse. And we saw this on Friday night, exactly the same shot, just wide. That's a beautiful shot. And of course, Pierce, who's from Western Australia, which is interesting, the goalkeeper from New South Wales, former Western Australian, has seen that before and was forever alert, as he would need to be.
Yes, he scored one of those on Friday night in the semi-final victory over the Canberra Lakers. And a beautiful piece of work. Great skills by Greg Corbett, but that time not coming off for him, just hitting the upright. So no score, and inside the last 5 minutes of the first half.
That's all right there, that's fine.
Paul Godoyne has come off to have a rest, I suspect, before the start of the third quarter. And Aaron Ryde's gone on left half and Sproul's gone to right half.
Greg Corbett losing possession to Livermore. Willsmore. Perth coming up with possession though through Ian Kirkcaldy. Greg Corbett just on his own side of halfway. Ken Walk coming in to get a stick to that and give New South Wales possession back. From Livermore to Mackay, sending it across to Keldas. Keldas just trying to get his stick to it, wasn't able to do so. Over the line. And played on very quickly by Perth. Scott Webster wasn't able to control that ball. Had he been able to, it would have been interesting.
Yes, it's an interesting battle of tactics going here. It's obviously been decided that New South Wales will put Matthew Smith on the side of the pitch where Sproul isn't. Sproul's gone to right half. Matthew Smith's now gone to right wing on the other side of the pitch. So it's a bit interesting little tussle of tactics going on.
Lucas Mackay for Brad Willsmore. The Argentinian. Max Keldas Captain Ken Walk, challenged by Kildy. Gets around him and got it on to Taylor. Now pushed downfield by Willsmore. Tapped by Aaron Nyland. Willsmore back in field for Taylor.
Good play by
Matthew Smith. Yes. It was excellent play.
Yes, he turns Sproul. I'm not sure, they're all calling to the other umpire at the other end of the pitch. There's something happened. Just have a look here. Here's Matthew Smith.
Well, I can only see what he looks like.
Well, yes. In fact, Carruthers actually got the ball, and it was Matthew Smith who actually kicked the ball. But anyway, umpire Marsh has given a penalty corner, the third for New South Wales.
So the penalty corner going the way of New South Wales. And here's an interesting one. They're now going to take the penalty corner from, well, that's the spot they've normally taken it from, which looking down the field is over on the left-hand side, which has caused some problems. But now this time to be taken from the right-hand side, the opposite side to which penalty corners are normally taken, and deflected away by Damon Deletti. Perth desperately getting back in defence and are able to scramble.
I think that was a wise decision by New South Wales, because at least then you get a shot on goal.
Kirkcaldy getting it across field for Brennan. So very quickly Perth go on the attack inside the circle.
Penalty corner
called.
Yes, Pearce made the save on the right wing cross, but it went straight back onto David, what's his name? Sorry, I've forgotten his name for a moment. He's gone straight back onto his foot. And so he's standing there, David Burke, ruining this opportunity that's been created just by an error.
So New South Wales going back in goal. 5 players back there on the goal line as Michael Brennan will take the push out of the penalty corner. Trapped. Paul Godoyne, the variation. Now to Webster. Just losing possession. And New South Wales coming up with it very quickly. So no scorers yet. Just under a minute remaining until half-time. New South Wales through Matthew Smith,
who's injured, and obviously, I was just going to say about the Perth Thundersticks, that's the variation they used the other night, which they scored. This will be a blow for New South Wales if Matthew Smith is injured.
Smith just slowly getting to his haunches, back near halfway. Commons getting it back to Livermore. Livermore trying to get around Godoyne. Hagar is there.
Umpire's blown time, stopped the clock while they looked at Matthew Smith back near the centre line. He's got his boot off, so I'm not sure whether it's his ankle. And umpire Paul Ludwig will be saying to him, if it needs to be attended to, it needs to come off so they can keep on with the game. It looks like he's been hit. There's Kenny Walk talking to the coaching staff.
So Matthew Smith just limping towards the dugout. I suppose if there's any good for it for New South Wales, the clock has been stopped to just 18 seconds until half-time. So Matthew Smith will have the half-time break to receive attention, hopefully get himself right, because he's a very important part, of course, of this New South Wales Warriors machine. Matthew Smith, an Olympian for Australia at the Atlanta Games of 1996. So the free hit taken, and now back to Ken Walk. Comes off the stick of Corbett to Livermore, and then off Corbett and over the line. Pushing taken by New South Wales, the Commons. As the hooter goes for the half-time break, and so no score at half-time of the 1997 Fox Sports Cup final between the New South Wales Warriors and the Perth Thundersticks, 0-0.
It's turning into a war of attrition between the two defences, and both goalkeepers have been called on to make some good saves. Two opportunities have been missed, one on either side, so realistically the score 0-0, although we'll all like to see a lot of goals being scored, 0-0 is a true reflection of the game probably.
Well, it's a final and it's being fought out. No quarter given, none certainly being asked for. So a tough final it is. Anybody's game at half-time, 0-0 between the Perth Thundersticks and the New South Wales Warriors. We might have a look at a couple of those. The first great save here by Max Keldas for New South Wales.
He comes from nowhere on his reverse and just tips it past the post. That's a great save. It's almost a match-winning save. And here's the one from the Thundersticks. Good play by Godoyne. Slips the ball through, and Corbett goes on his reverse stick shot, goes wide. Of course, he scored one of those on Friday night.
And then a save by Jared Pearce, which eventually gave away a penalty corner, but he really did well here. The ball was trapped. He wanted to make sure that Hagar couldn't flick it over him into the net. The penalty corner was conceded, but no goal, and so 0-0 it is as we go into the third quarter. Looking at the statistics, in fact, of penalty corners, 3 to New South Wales and 2 to Perth. So the scoreline and the statistics show that it's been a very, very even first 2 quarters. What's the third quarter going to bring?
Matthew Smith's come back on after that treatment at half-time. As I suspected, it was a little injury where he got hit between the top of the shin pad and the top of the boot. And he's come back on and gone immediately into the middle. Grant Smith's back on, so all of the key players for New South Wales are ready and raring to go.
Daniel Davison getting into the circle. Greg Corbett trying to get the shot away, but Brent Livermore, terrific work in defence by Livermore. He really had to work hard there. This is Commons, who's had a good game for New South Wales.
Yes, I thought he got on top of Brennan early on. And then Brennan did some very good things.
So Perth now trying to turn defence one moment into attack the next. To Mark Hagar. Hagar running it downfield, picking up Sproul. Sproul getting around Ken Walk. Into the circle it goes. Save. Terrific save.
That is a top save.
Absolutely fantastic save.
Watch this on the replay. The ball deflects off Walk's leg. Davison hits it on the lurch, and Pearce, coming from nowhere, saves it. Watch the movement here. Watch the coverage by the goalkeeper. That is absolutely superb saving by Pearce.
Jared Pearce has had a very good game as a penalty corner is awarded. Penalty corner goes to New South Wales, but Jared Pearce, he's had an excellent game for New South Wales this afternoon. Of course, his opposite number is the Australian keeper, Damon Deletti.
The ball's going from one end to the other, and it's a shot at goal by Commons, which is half deflected by Wishart, who's using his reverse, which caused a little consternation in the Perth defence, but they've managed to solve that problem. Now there'll be a penalty corner with Grant moving across, Grant Smith moving across to push it out. The ball is put on the spot. He's allowed to have 1 foot either side of the white line. Drag pushes it to the top of the circle.
So the deflection across field, and again another good save. The two keepers doing well.
Play on.
The variation, Brent Livermore getting the shot away, but Deletti doing well to save. So excellent work by the two goalkeepers.
Absolutely, and the counter-attack's on it as well. We've gone from one end to the other.
Yes, Jared Pearce, the goalkeeper for New South Wales, formerly from WA, and Damon Deletti, the Perth Thundersticks goalkeeper. So both called into play early in the third quarter, and both rising to the occasion.
And you'd have to say that Pearce must be drawing attention to himself by the Australian selectors. He's just been in such good form over a number of weeks. And on Friday night and here today, he's been very, very good again.
So Perth attacking once more. Corbett trying to get the reflection, couldn't do so. Back with Sproul to Hagar. Hagar looking to get it inside the circle. Couldn't be taken by Perth. Brennan just losing control of that ball as it went over the back line. Burt trying to link up with Ken Walk. He also losing control. So Corbett, the push in for the Perth Thundersticks. So Perth come back inside the circle once more. Oh. And Michael Brennan had the chance.
He missed an absolute sitter then. There was an opportunity. Just needed to play the very, very straight bat. Right in front of the net, Michael Brennan bounces a little bit. He really needed to be very strong on the bottom hand and bunt that ball into the goal. Well, in 4 minutes of play, we've seen 3 very good opportunities, 2 excellent saves by either goalkeeper.
So it's New South Wales coming back towards halfway. Grant Smith dispossessed though by Perth. Brennan getting it back to Hagar. Free hit given to Perth, coming off the leg of the New South Wales player. This is Paul Godoy. Just took a short break before three-quarter time. Recovering, of course, Godoy, as we said, from ankle surgery, and has had very limited playing time over the last few weeks, so he'd be short of match fitness and a very vital part of this team. Here's Commons. Whoops. Commons just getting a free ride on Aaron Wright.
Absolutely, yes. Problem with that, of course, sometimes when you sometimes see in rugby, people land on their back and really quite dangerous.
So back to Ken Walk, to David Burke. Burke. Peter Taylor. Cross to Brent Livermore. Livermore looking to send his side into attack, losing possession. Perth getting the free hit just inside their own 25. Wishart driving it out towards the left wing. Now across field from Corbett to pick up an unmarked Mark Hagar in centre field. Hagar getting across to Davison. Davison inside the circle. Good work by Davison.
This was good work by Daniel Davison, but unfortunately the ball lifted off his own stick. And umpire Gary Marsh, who was right there, was awarded the free hit to New South Wales. But the game certainly has come to life.
It certainly has opened up in the... we had some 7 minutes of the third quarter.
It's like a boxing match, and a lot of sparring in the initial rounds. People sorting out, finding out who's playing where.
I think probably too, Richard, both sides, particularly the younger players in both sides, realising that, hey, you know, we're in this, the nerves have gone, we can settle down, start to play, the opportunities are there.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Nerves play an important role, and young players certainly take a while to forget about the crowd and forget about the occasion and just settle down to playing hockey.
David Mackay. Cross through Livermore to Commons. Ball going back then to Matthew Smith. Commons not able to control it. Push in by Perth. Through Corbett to Godoy. Just outside his own 25 to Hagar. Mark Hagar using all his guile and his experience and skill, and then drawing the free hit. Godoy driving Perth on the attack. Ken Walk, though, is back in defence.
Paul Godoy gone to centre half and Daniel Sproul to right half. I think this gives them a better balance.
Hagar linking up with Sproul, coming off New South Wales and over the line. Sproul restarts to Hagar. Carruthers driving the ball through into the circle. Hagar again. Trying to link up with Corbett. Free hit to New South Wales, taken by Mackay. Drives it deep. No one there to intercept. And goes across the line.
Perth making another change. Chris Rourke is coming on. He'll probably go to the left wing. Ian Kelkeldy's off.
And Michael McCann just coming back onto the field as well for New South Wales.
Kirkcaldy having a well-earned rest and drink.
Hager. Inside the circle once more. Perth doing their best if they can. Daniel Davison had about 3 or 4 goes to try and get that in, but Keldas did magnificently in defence for the Warriors.
Yes, here it is. The ball, beautiful pass by Hager, who's in absolute top form. Chris Rourke gets it back. Here's Davison. There's the opportunity. There's one opportunity too. Doesn't quite be strong enough on the ball, but he gets it through. And of course, we saw Keldas there behind, making his second save on the line.
So the corner going to New South Wales. And Lucas Mackay just unhappy with himself for not having controlled that ball any better. Corbett breaking away down the left side, being challenged by Lucas Mackay. Got the ball through though to pick up Daniel Davison. Davison runs it inside the circle.
Penalty corner. Certainly very good play by Daniel Davison, making Kenny Walk chase him, and as Walk reached in, pulled the ball back underneath inside the circle, which is a breach of the rules, and so it's a penalty corner, the 3rd for the Perth Thundersticks.
So Ian Kirkcaldy coming back to link up for this penalty corner attempt as they go into the huddle, and Mark Hagar says exactly what they're going to try for the penalty corner to try and break this deadlock. 7.5 minutes remaining until 3/4 time. No scorers yet in the Fox Sports Cup final. Again being taken from the unorthodox side, the right-hand side. Lost again by Perth. Stuart Carruthers going back for it. Cross to Michael Brennan.
Onto Walk's foot.
Another penalty corner.
Yes, this is the 7th penalty corner of the match, and by now you would imagine the goal would have been scored. But of course the players are being asked to make an adjustment because of that problem at the top of the circle that we've spoken about. Let's see if they work a variation, firstly to the right and then back across to Hagar or even Goodwin.
So Michael Brennan take the push out. Dragged out. Corbett goes for the flick. Saved right back on the line again.
Davison was in there, harassing Burke on the line.
With Mackay. With David Burke. It was terrific work right back there with Pearce. And then David Burke. So New South Wales coming very quickly now back into attack. Getting inside the circle. Shot being taken by Michael McCann's goal, and a goal is scored.
Matthew Smith was good play by McCann. He got the shot on goal. He drew the save from Deletti, but the rebound goes back to Smith. He just clips it under the crossbar as easy as you like. Here's the good play. Somehow he gets his way through the first tackle, gets a shot on goal, which brings the save from Deletti. Smith uses his strength and then chips it under the crossbar for the first goal.
Yeah, excellent work by New South Wales. First of all by McCann, and then completed by Smith, just flicking it up. So the goal scored by Matthew Smith, one of the Australian Olympians, of course, from the Atlanta Games in 1996. And so the first score of the final of the Fox Sports Cup, and the New South Wales Warriors lead Perth by 1-0. 5 minutes remaining until 3/4 time. Now, Richard Angus, do they change their tactics at all and try and defend that 1-goal lead, or do they simply play their normal aggressive open game?
Well, I don't think they've got the players to play defensively for this length of time. You've got, what, 18 minutes of the last quarter and 5 minutes, 23, 24 minutes to go. It's too long to play defensively, and the young players they've got in the team are much better off just going with what they've got.
So New South Wales leading by 1-0. This is Commons. Again getting towards the circle. Trapped back there in defence by Ian Wishart for Perth.
And of course, New South Wales are going to be so keen. They've never won this competition. This is a real good opportunity for them. And talking to their president, Ken Crispo, he'd be absolutely delighted if they were winning this competition, because a lot of people said they couldn't because they had so many young players in the team.
course, the thing about them is that they came into to the competition in form, having won their last 6 games. So they were the in-form side in the as far as the form coming into the semi-finals and final, even though probably Perth and Melbourne would have been favoured in front of them, given the experience of those 2 sides. But they played extremely well in their semi-final on Friday night to knock out Melbourne. And now they're up by 1-0, 4 minutes away from 3/4 time in the final. Paul Goodwin. Goodwin flicking the ball downfield, trapped by Ken Walk just outside his own 25. Walk runs it up over halfway. Still going, Ken Walk. Not challenged as yet.
Well, if they move the ball quickly, they'll have Walk out of position.
Hagar knows that, but Ken Walk coming back very quickly using all of his experience. Gave away the free hit, but thought it was certainly worthwhile. You'd have to say he was right.
He was right, and it was a very good piece of play by Kenny Walk, because the one thing he didn't want Perth to be doing was getting on the counter-attack when he's not there.
So with Goodwin looking to get it back to Sproul. Now driven inside the circle, very quickly saved by New South Wales.
And they've got the numbers too if they run quickly.
Matthew Smith looking to link up with an unmarked McCann, who's getting up towards the circle. With McCann now has the shot and just goes wide.
Gee, that was close too. Delaney had it covered on the near post, but on the far post, it was only inches in it. This is a good shot by McCann, just past the far upright.
Gee, had that gone in and it didn't miss by much, that was just about game, set and match.
Certainly would have put Perth right on the back foot. There's plenty of time left in this match, of course. The Warriors are certainly showing all the signs, all that confidence that we saw on Friday night when they comfortably eliminated the Melbourne Redbacks.
So the free hit being given to New South Wales. Max Keldas. Keldas, though, this time getting the free hit going against him. Intercepted, though, by Peter Taylor. With Smith.
As he played through the ball, but he played through the body at the same time. Umpire thought it was a bit aggressive. Gave the free hit to Perth.
Goodwin linking up with Sproul. Sproul infield to Hagar. Just was wrong-footed for a moment, Mark Hagar. Ball going over the line, came off a Warrior. So Hagar restarts. Hagar trying to get it around Smith. Sproul coming in to help. Free hit to Perth, taken quickly. Ken Walk getting back in defence. Perth pleading to the umpire that in fact it was pushed deliberately by Ken Walk over the back line.
Yeah, exactly right, and they were nearly right too. It was a very close call.
So the long corner for Perth as it comes to Goodwin. Goodwin puts it inside the circle. Brennan was looking for the deflection, didn't come his way. Over the back line, 16-yard hit to restart for New South Wales. Walk driving it downfield.
Keep going!
Trying to get the breakaway. Here's Matthew Smith using all of his pace. Giving away, though, the free hit.
You wouldn't want to do that too many times to Aaron Ride. Aaron Ride has been known to be a fairly tough customer. He wouldn't take too kindly to that, I wouldn't think.
Matthew Smith driving it deep. Cleared by the Perth defence. Lucas Mackay. This is Grant Smith. Brennan coming in to put some pressure on him. Driven by Smith over the sideline. As the hooter goes for 3/4 time. And so Ken Walk and the New South Wales Warriors would be well pleased with their performance in that third quarter, scoring the only goal of the third quarter, in fact the only goal of the match. And even though they may have come into this game as the underdogs, they'd be well pleased knowing that they're just 18 minutes away from claiming their first title in the National Hockey League. Three-quarter time in the Fox Sports Cup. The New South Wales Warriors 1, leading the Perth Thundersticks 0.
He's the locomotive of the Brumbies backline and looks...
In the final of the Fox Sports Cup, if Perth, Richard Agus, are to win, you would think that some of their bigger name players have to start to perform. They've been below par today.
They certainly have, and one of the first steps that I would have suggested, and it's already happened, is that Daniel Sproul's gone to centre half. Although Goodwin's handling the ball all right, he's obviously not at full fitness. I think they need Sproul's running ability in the middle, and I think that's the first step, and Corbett's gone onto the right wing.
Given that they are trailing, what sort of things do they have to do now, Perth? Given they've still got 17.5 minutes.
Yes, well, initially they just play like they have been, because they have created a couple of opportunities, but get the ball moving quickly and maybe have Mark Hager playing as a striker rather than back in the line all the time. It's good play by Webster.
Dispossessed by New South Wales. I guess one thing...
Card there, probably. Oh, that was a professional foul. Sproul was lucky to get away with that.
I guess one thing for Perth, Richard, is that there is so much experience in the side that their players shouldn't panic. They've been there, they know what's needed of them.
Oh yes, there's certainly plenty of time. It's a matter of getting hold of the ball and making the most of those opportunities.
As rain starts to fall, we were hoping that rain had cleared, and it's back with us. Another one of these sharp showers that we've been having over the past few days in Brisbane. So Mark Hagar in possession, giving it away to Goodwin. Goodwin getting the through ball, hoping to link up with Webster, and he couldn't do so. Not only the rain, but now the wind starting to drive behind this rain. Pushed across field by Stuart Carruthers. Then through Wishart. Driven back into centre field. New South Wales coming back through Smith. Goodwin trying to recapture possession for Perth. Carruthers losing possession, picked up by Smith, just goes across the line. Restarted by Carruthers with Goodwin. Ball for by Hagar in centre field, giving it back to Sproul. Sproul with a little bit of room to move, getting inside the circle. Brennan going back to try and get the deflection, couldn't do so. New South Wales got back very quickly in numbers.
One or two of the Perth players also have to be prepared to take the odd risk, put people under pressure, try and make an interception, rob the ball off them. All of those basic things of sport when you're playing in a contest, and this is a situation where they need to be done.
Commons in centre field. Smith getting a bad bounce. But so too immediately does Webster, and that allows Smith to get possession back. And the free hit going the way of Smith. So the New South Wales free hit just outside the Perth 25. Keldas up into Sproul. Some of the crowd complaining about that. Sproul got away with it through Webster. Webster the through ball, hoping to pick up Corbett. He's just out of position a little bit. He was having a battle there with David Burke. Greg Corbett wasn't in position to take it. Goes over the back line. So the 16-yard restart. Ken Walk bringing it forward.
Bursting through the tackles, literally. Trying to break up this press that Perth are applying.
Doesn't show much emotion in a situation like this, Ken Walk, but I'm sure this is the sort of situation that he would be loving, absolutely thriving on.
He always thrives in the battle.
So New South Wales in possession once more. Matthew Smith just losing possession. Free hit to Perth. Not taken in the right position. In fact, it was taken well downfield by Ian Wishart. Just trying to crib a few metres. The umpire was awake to it. Paul Goodwin. Just back on their own 25. Hagar running it back towards halfway. Slipped through by Aaron Ride.
He lifted it up.
The umpire's given the free hit to Perth. Mark Hagar playing back in the line, almost like a second centre half. At this stage, I would have thought he should have been in his favourable role up there, tormenting Kenny Walker and the other defenders for that opportunity in the net.
Ball lost by New South Wales. Quickly claimed by Greg Corbett for the Thundersticks. Dealing for the free hit and getting it. Hagar. Sproul. Across field through Ride. Looking to get his pass away, but New South Wales were there to defend quickly.
No, it's out. Hang on.
Ball ruled to have gone out. Rules the umpire.
Right there. Okay, let's go. Yep.
Out of Perth. Restarted by New South Wales. Keldas, the Argentinian, looking to get his pass down the line. Couldn't control it. In by Godoyne, away to Sproul. Through Hagar. Brennan, trying to get free Brennan. Still working hard.
Brennan needs to be a little stronger, particularly when he's playing against people like Ward. He's not strong on the ball. He'll just get bustled off the ball, as we saw then. Just a little bit of aggravation in this as well, as Kenny just getting a little push in the back.
So New South Wales getting back up inside the circle. Another goal would be vital. Delaney coming out with two brilliant saves. And right on the line, knocked out by Stuart Carruthers. Brilliant work by Perth. By golly, that's as close as you'll ever get by both the goalkeeper Delaney and by Carruthers.
And the sort of saves that can help you win a match, because the ball should have gone in at least twice then, but a great save by the goalkeeper, then by Carruthers. And you can just see the opportunities that were created then, but excellent defence.
That is absolute desperation by Perth, realising that another goal now with just over 11 minutes remaining would have almost shut the gate on any chance they have of winning this. New South Wales, the Warriors leading by 1-0 over the Thundersticks.
There's an error coming out of defence by Keldos.
So Perth bringing it back inside the circle. Davison working hard but losing it. Back to Commons, sends it across to Smith. This is Grant Smith coming down the left wing, chased from behind by Corbett. Still going Smith.
Take it up 10 if you want.
Free hit.
Keep going now.
Going to Perth. Had the advantage if they wanted to of taking it up 10 yards. They didn't, elected to play on quickly. But now losing possession, coming back to New South Wales. Kai with a miss-hit, but picked up then by Commons. Free hit the way of the Thundersticks. Back in centre field. From Sproul to Corbett, looking to link up with Brennan. Goes wide, and the drive across field. The goal was there to be scored, couldn't be taken.
Great pass by Greg Corbett over 40 yards to find Daniel Davison on the top of the circle with the shot at goal. There's the pass from Corbett, beautifully just pierced the defence. Davison, who's normally very good in this situation, is actually quite a wild shot, missed by metres.
And to be fair, he probably had a fair bit of goal to work with, given that Pearce had come a long way off his line.
Yes, and certainly they normally chip those under the crossbar from that situation, but he didn't hit it well at all.
So another chance gone begging for Perth. New South Wales clinging to a lead of 1-0.
Come back, please, come back.
Free hit just outside the circle.
Not that far, thank you.
So all players have to stay 5 yards away. Paul Godoyne takes the free hit. Trapped though by New South Wales in desperation. Who was the man who got it? Ken Walker.
Used Nyland.
Keep going.
Now's a chance for New South Wales. Matty Smith breaks away with his pace, but Wishart is equal to the task.
Greg Corbett immediately trying to send Perth back into attack once more. Desperation stakes now, and you can see the intensity of this game has just gone up a couple of cogs in the last few minutes. Both sides realising that time is getting away. New South Wales have a great chance of winning their first ever Fox Sports Cup, and Perth, they want to get the equaliser as quickly as possible.
when they break away, the Warriors, they're certainly finding space in this Perth defence.
So the restart taken by New South Wales. A bit of pushing and shoving there with Paul Goodwin, who wants to get on with the game quickly. Now does so. Gets it through to Mark Hagar. Hagar has Corbett just back on the inside. Good pass by Corbett to pick up Hagar once more. Being challenged very quickly, though, by Burke. Does well to get it away.
But the penalty corner might even be a card. He took him out outside the circle.
It's all right, he's injured. You're right,
That's the ultimate professional foul. No question he took him out.
David Burke is down on his haunches. Here it is again.
Talk to me, buddy. How you going?
And just a deliberate push by David Burke, a desperation push. Probably lucky that he wasn't given a card. However, he has naturally conceded the penalty corner. Now, Perth go back to the orthodox side, going back to the left-hand side to take the push out.
And I think you might find this will go to Paul Goodwin for the drag flick. It'll be a question of whether Livermore can be there quick enough to stop it.
Stopped. Driven by Corbett. Goes wide.
Little deflection.
But Perth still having possession, but a miss hit by Perth. It comes back to Carruthers, gets it across to Sproul. Carruthers in midfield, trying to find the through ball to Hagar. Then with Corbett, then Sproul. Over the back line.
7.5 minutes remaining.
Inside the circle once more.
Right there. I didn't.
16-yard restart by Burke from Ken Walk. Away from Livermore, and this is Commons. Commons having trouble in centre field. Eventually, the free hit being given to the Warriors, taken by Burke. Then flicked downfield by Livermore. No one there, though, to intercept that pass. So the quick restart from the 16-yard mark by Perth. Just losing possession, getting a bad bounce there, and so losing a little bit of the momentum.
Chewing up valuable time, which is the other factor, of course. We're now down to 6.5 minutes of play remaining.
Yes, Stuart Carruthers probably took him another 10-15 seconds of valuable time before he was able to gather that ball in and restart play. And by that time, of course, New South Wales will regroup once more.
In there, please. Livers, where you are, thanks. Livers.
I'm really quite surprised that Perth have got everybody behind the ball at this moment. I thought they might have tried to play two high strikers and dragged the New South Wales defence out.
So New South Wales in possession, driven through by David Burke. So the free hit going very quickly to Perth. Sproul running it across field. Came off Commons. Free hit once more through Hagar. Then away to Corbett. Corbett going down the line, trying to pick up Webster. Webster unable to control it over the back line. The Warriors leading by 1-0. 5.5 minutes remaining. The final of the Fox Sports Cup, the 1997 National Hockey League. New South Wales, who've never won the title. Perth have been the dominant side in this competition over the past 6 years. And a great chance for New South Wales to pull off their first title. They've done a great job this afternoon, but there's still 5 minutes remaining, and the strength of Perth and the experience of Perth well within the realms of possibility that they can pull this out of the fire. But New South Wales with the attacking momentum at the moment.
Top pass, Peter Taylor, but Adam Commons couldn't quite get under control on the top of the circle, but they still have possession.
Just got a slightly bad bounce, Adam Commons, to be fair to him. Tell you what, had he been able to control it, Richard, it would have been interesting.
Would have been interesting, all right. He was about 15 yards out with no one anywhere near him. He certainly would have had the opportunity to have a really good hit at it. The other thing about New South Wales, if they win this game, it will be the 7th game in a row. So there could be no argument that they haven't been the form team or they haven't deserved to win the competition.
So here's a chance now for Perth. Driving it down inside the circle. New South Wales, they scrambling to get back and did so well. They really have to rush to get back there, New South Wales, but their desperation showing. They know how close they are to victory. They don't want to be denied now. This is Paul Goodwin. Goodwin just getting it around the feet of Brad Willsmore. The ball slipping over the back line.
The desperation of David Burke. Some of his tackles have just been inspirational.
Long corner taken by Goodwin. Back inside the circle once more for Corbett, but once more New South Wales, particularly through David Burke, are back there in a hurry. Terrific defence. Willsmore not able to control this ball. Will be trapped by Wishart.
Well, that was a hit and hope. It's given the ball to New South Wales with 5 their forwards running forward.
Yeah, it was a hit and hope. Aaron Rye, there was only blue jerseys around him as it comes back to Commons. Commons running it inside the circle. Losing possession very quickly back to Goodwin. Goodwin being challenged by the New South Wales players. In fact, the player trying to get it is Peter Taylor. Free hit given to Perth. The desperation of Perth as it came through Sproul. Out to Smith. Smith trying to get down the wing. Losing possession. Free hit goes to New South Wales from Burt. Burt will take the free hit. To Smith. To Taylor. Taylor loses it. Pushed in field by Haynes. Then away to Hagar. The through ball by Mark Hagar. Just slips over the line. Greg Corbett takes the hit in. And then just absolutely padded away without any problems whatsoever by Pearce.
2.5 minutes remaining.
Hagar on the 25.
New South Wales have every player back into defence, as you would expect.
Carruthers once more putting it inside the circle. But in fact, all you can see in there is a wall of the dark and light blue jerseys.
You need to move the ball around the outside, try and come in from the side, get behind the defence.
It just looks as though at the moment the desperation of New South Wales, that there's blue shirts absolutely everywhere. So desperate are they. Here's Goodwin trying to give the wide pass across field to Aaron Ryder, went nowhere near him.
Yeah, he's allowed to get there.
I'll just use up a little bit of time as Ken Walk takes his time to get across for the push in. Inside the last 2 minutes, New South Wales clinging to a lead of 1-0 over the Perth Thundersticks. Chance for Perth to mark Hagar. Hagar inside the circle. Penalty corner. Penalty corner given to Perth. This may be the last chance they have, the Perth Thundersticks. This penalty corner with, by the time it's taken, just over probably around a minute remaining.
There's the ball knocked through by Hagar onto David Burke's foot inside the circle. So this will be the 6th penalty corner for the Perth. David Bell, coach, Olympian.
Michael Brennan to take the push out for the penalty corner. Trapped. Corbett can't get it from that bad penalty corner spot. They weren't able to control that ball, which has bounced awkwardly. That may be their last chance gone. Perth still trying to get it back inside the circle. Free hit goes the way of Perth to be taken by Daniel Davison. Trapped again, immediately back in defence by Ken Walk. Perth appealing for the penalty corner. A long corner is given. Just over 30 seconds remaining. But Perth, through Goodwin, trying to work it back and inside the circle once more. Kicked away by Pearce and kicked away over the line. Great work. He's had a terrific game today, Gerard Pearce, the goalkeeper for New South Wales. And the Blues break out from their own territory. Free hit going to the Perth Thundersticks. Taken by Sproul. 10 seconds remaining. Can they pull it out of the fire? Penalty corner. Penalty corner going the way of Perth. The hooter is sounded, but of course the penalty corner has to be taken. Even though the hooter is sounded for full time, once the penalty corner was awarded, the penalty corner has to be taken. So Mark Hagar And the players that will be involved in the penalty corner work out what they're going to do. Damon Deletty, the goalkeeper for Western Australia, knows that his day is done. There's nothing more that he can do. It's simply up to Perth as to whether or not they can convert a penalty corner for the first time in the match and send this game into extra time. Michael Brennan to take the penalty corner. They'll take it from the left-hand side, the side that has caused some problems because of a couple of little bounces in the pitch itself. Trapped. Corbett goes for the flick. Still in the field of play. Penalty corner again. Another penalty corner has been given. Ken Walk, the New South Wales Warriors captain, doesn't like it at all. If looks could kill, the umpire would be a dead man at the moment, but the penalty corner has once again been given. And so while there's life, there's hope. After full time, Michael Brennan to take the push out. The drag push by Brennan. Trapped. The variation to Corbett. Saved by New South Wales, and well done to the New South Wales Warriors. Even though Perth had the chance to pull that game out of the fire right at the end, you have to be fair and say it would have been a travesty of justice had they been able to send the game into extra time, because the team that deserved to win was the New South Wales Warriors. They've been the better side in the final. They did a terrific job on Friday night to beat the Melbourne Redbacks, probably an upset in the semi-final. And today, the young New South Wales side, with the experience, the great experience of Ken Walk, have done an outstanding job. And so for the first time in the history of the National Hockey League, the New South Wales Warriors have their name added to the trophy list of winners. Terrific game this afternoon. New South Wales defeating the Perth Thundersticks by 1-0. So congratulations to New South Wales. A 1-0 victory over the Perth Thundersticks. A disappointed Perth captain Mark Hagar is down on the sideline at the moment. Here he is with Richard Agus.
Mark, bad luck. Boys played very well, but you have to give full compliment to New South Wales. I thought they did very well today.
Yeah, I mean, they just hung in there. We didn't convert our chances today. Unlucky on a penalty stroke, I thought. First time I think I've seen that blown for a lot of years, and I suppose pressure of finals, umpires are under just as much pressure, but I mean, we didn't convert our chances, so we probably didn't deserve to win.
Yes, your goalkeeper made a couple of good saves, but you certainly missed a couple of chances.
Yeah, I mean, in the last quarter we had heaps of corners and heaps of field shots, so it was disappointing that we didn't put them away, and I suppose that happens. 8 penalty corners, the real problem at that end with the penalty corners? Yeah, I mean, it's not a very good turf. I mean, that's not an excuse on our behalf, but it is bobbly one way, and I mean, it didn't suit us very well, and obviously you don't practice those corners all year because you don't know what you're playing on until you get here, and I mean, it was disappointing in that respect, but still we had the chances and we should have put them away.
Well, congratulations on your career, Marks. Well done for the team, and good luck in the future.
Thanks, Dodge. Ta.
Pretty much sums it up. They did have their chances, Perth. Congratulations, Mark Hagar. But the New South Wales Warriors have been successful, and one man who had an absolutely outstanding series for New South Wales in the final, their goalkeeper, Gerard Pearce.
Jerry, you can't stop smiling.
Absolutely. We were very, very worried about what the attackers might do with Perth, because everyone knows they're an absolutely goal-scoring machine. So we concentrated on eliminating all their real hard strikers, and paid off for us.
How important was it for that save you made at the end there with Daniel Davison?
It was crucial. There was no option.
It was a great save, and it certainly was an important part of the game.
Well, they're the ones that count. You might not get touches all game, but if you pull off the big ones. And
both goalkeepers did very, very well, and the forwards, your young forwards, you must have been very happy with them.
Absolutely. These guys, I don't think anyone's seen their full potential, but today obviously went close.
Congratulations, New South Wales. The first time they ever won a National Hockey League. Congratulations to all the boys.
Thanks very much, Richard.
Excellent performance by the New South Wales goalkeeper, Gerard Pearce. He had an outstanding series, a great game on Friday night, and a match-saving game this afternoon for Gerard Pearce. As he said, Perth are a goal-scoring machine under normal circumstances, and was an excellent effort by New South Wales, led by the man at the back, Gerard Pearce, to keep the Perth Thundersticks scoreless in this afternoon's final. So a terrific final it turned out. Congratulations to the New South Wales Warriors, to their captain Ken Walk and their coach Larry McIntosh, and to all the side. For the first time, New South Wales are the winners of the National Hockey League. The New South Wales Warriors winning the Fox Sports Cup, defeating the Perth Thundersticks by 1-0. On behalf of Richard Agus and all of the Fox Sports team, I'm John McCoy, bidding you good afternoon from the State Hockey Centre at Combsley in Brisbane.